Welcome to the Ask Dr. Khan Show. This is Dr. Peter Khan, functional medicine doctor. And on this episode, I'm going to be talking about the big idea that's sweeping functional medicine by storm. And you all have heard of the brain-gut connection. And what happens is the brain and the gut is intimately connected in function. And what happens is when you have leaky gut, you may develop brain symptom. And when you have brain symptom, you may develop GI problems. Now, there's a third thing that's often missed in that brain-gut connection, and that's the immune system. So I'm going to draw and show you the connection between the brain, immune, and gut so we can appreciate it. And then I'm actually going to be announcing the launch of the Brain Immune Gut Masterclass in 1 week, and I'm so excited. I put in so much work and effort into that to make this an extraordinary event where you're going to learn so much. So watch me as I show you this brain immune gut connection. So we have brain right here. Here's your brain, okay? And we have the gut. Now, between the brain and the gut, we know that there's a brain-gut connection, and that brain communicates with the gut through the vagus nerve, okay? And then the gut communicates back to the brain through that same vagus nerve, but also through hormones and peptides. So this brain-gut connection is what helps your body to integrate function. Okay, so that when we develop leaky gut, we might develop what's called leaky brain. Now, what the heck is leaky brain? Well, between the brain and the rest of the body, there's a barrier called the blood-brain barrier. Okay, this blood-brain barrier, if it's compromised like this, it will allow things like toxins and food proteins, such as gluten and dairy and soy, and inflammatory cytokines, which are inflammation chemicals that trigger inflammation in the body. These things can start to leak through this damaged blood-brain barrier. And when it leaks through, it causes what's called brain inflammation. And guess what this brain inflammation does? It causes symptoms that many of you experience, such as brain fog and fatigue and depression and short-term memory loss and lack of motivation and lack of joy in life and a sense of anxiety even. So these brain symptoms, many of them are caused by inflammation in the brain. Just think about it. When your brain is inflamed, it's like your brain is on fire. And when your brain is on fire, the nerve-to-nerve communication between neurons, between brain cells cannot happen. So it slows down. So if you can't relay that message like a baton in a relay race to pass that message from one brain cell to another, of course you're not going to be able to remember the words that you're saying. Of course you're going to lose your train of thought and forget what you're even talking about. Of course you're going to walk into a room and forget why you walk in there in the first place. Of course you're going to feel depressed and anxious and all these brain symptoms. Many of these symptoms are a consequence of brain inflammation. Now, when you have brain inflammation long enough, what it leads to is brain degeneration. So what do I mean by brain degeneration? That means the inflammation in the brain starts to cause brain cells to die off at a faster rate than just normal aging. So if you're losing brain cells at a faster click than normal aging, you're going to eventually lose so much more brain cells that you lose function associated with that region that's being destroyed by brain inflammation. So as you start to lose brain function, that's when you get dementia. That's your Alzheimer's. That's your Parkinson's disease. So you see, there's a cycle here, right? It starts with gut dysfunction, and then that starts to cause brain inflammation due to this leaky brain mechanism. And then that brain inflammation can start to trigger brain degeneration. Now that happens much later on. So if you have currently symptoms of brain inflammation like fatigue, brain fog, memory loss, can't focus, lethargic, low motivation, you need to be really concerned because you're heading in that direction. So the goal is to stop the progression, right? You want to stop that from happening. And the way you do that, you got to address this big idea, I call it, is the big idea. Okay, why is it a big idea? Well, it turns out there's a missing piece. The missing piece is the immune system in this brain immune gut axis. Immune system. So it turns out that the immune system communicates with the brain, and the immune system also communicates with the gut. And the gut also talks to the immune system, and then the brain talks back to the immune system. So this is kind of the messaging or the coordination center between the brain and the gut, besides just the vagus nerve, right? You guys heard a lot about the vagus nerve, perhaps, recent summits and interviews that I've been on. But the immune system is often neglected. And this turns out to be a very important part. They're all important. They play together. So you can't just, look at this and say, okay, I'm going to do the brain or just do the gut. It doesn't work like that. So when you look at the brain, the immune, and the gut, and me and my, acronyms and puns, I call it the big idea, right? Because it's brain, immune, gut. And that's why we're holding the BIG Masterclass. And this Masterclass is actually an online event that's going to be starting next Monday, and you get to watch it for free for a whole week. I put a lot of time and effort and energy into this to bring you the best content, but really to help you understand this concept of brain, immune, gut problems, how they're connected. So if you're one of those person that says, okay, I have brain symptoms, depression, brain fog, so I'm going to go take me some ginkgo and 5-HTP and all the supplement for brain that's supposed to be for brain, then you end up with your basket of supplement for brain, and you're not feeling better because you're not addressing the other pieces. So that's okay, I have GI symptoms, so I'm going to take my enzymes and probiotics and L-glutamine for leaky gut, but you're still not better because you're ignoring the immune system. And then you say, well, immune system, how does that show up? Well, it can show up as immune compromise, where you get chronic infections. It can show up as inflammation, where you just feel inflamed all the time. That's how immune system dysfunction show up, as inflammation, as chronic infection. So if you're not addressing the whole piece, then you're not going to have much success with your protocol. And that's why I'm bringing you the Brain Immune Gut Masterclass, or the BIG Masterclass. You can go to bigmasterclass.com. If you type that in, it's going to show you this right here. So this is the Brain Immune Gut Masterclass, which starts August 10th, which is next Monday. I'm so excited to bring this to you. If you're watching this right now, please head on over to bigmasterclass.com, okay? bigmasterclass.com, and get yourself registered for this free event. I mean, this is for you, folks. This is to help you. I did this so that you can have the information you need, so that you can get the healing that you're looking for, and no longer wonder what are you missing, right? So go to brainimmunegutmasterclass.com, and this has a little intro, and you can put your name and email here to register for free, and you're going to get some bonus gifts just upon registration. I'm going to give you some really cool gifts that's going to help you, and this explains why this is going to be critical for you to get this information. We have 15 expert interviews, and these are some of the topics we're going to cover. By the way, this masterclass is designed very uniquely, where you're going to have a mastery session with me every day, sometimes more than one, where I go in deep. I go deep into these specific topics. Okay? I go in deep into immune system, art of safe detox, brain inflammation. I mean, these are solo sessions where I go into these. On top of that, you also get expert interviews. These are colleagues that I know that they know their stuff. And they're going to basically help me to help you understand a specific area, like digestion by Dr. Damser, and inflammation by Dr. Murphy. And Dr. Todd Watts is going to talk about parasites. So you have all these amazing interviews, plus me with a mastery session to help you connect the dots. This is unlike any online event or summit that you have seen, where we're going to give you so much great and detailed information. It's not just an interview. It's really a class. That's why it's called the Brain Immune Gut Masterclass. Again, you can register by entering your name and email address. Please share this information with your friends and family. Have them go to bigmasterclass.com and register for this free event, which starts August 10th to August 16th. And I look forward to seeing you there.